Next up, we get to hear from a national recovery speaker, Joseph Green. We are so glad you've joined us tonight, Joseph. Joseph Green is a professional storyteller, an award-winning poet, and a person in long-term recovery. He has spoken at recovery events all over the country and has worked closely with the national group Faces and Voices of Recovery. We are so proud that we get to host such an important person in the national recovery movement. Joseph, if you're ready, I will hand things over to you.
May we lost causes find, at the height of our sobriety, that which we could not find at the bottom of our addiction. Salvation was never there. Trust me, I looked often, and with the thorough eye of a man willing to face anyone except his own truth, my truth, a relentless and unforgiving lover who always refused to assume the role of mistress. She would lay with me when I thought I was alone, sit next to me on the train when I thought I was running away. And if I adjusted the frequency just so, I swear I could hear her whisper, "I can set you free." She was there the day I sat shaking in the corner of my drug dealer's kitchen, waiting for him to fall asleep so that I might creep into his stash spot and place a Band-Aid over this bullet wound of an addiction. She was there the day the man who welcomed me in like a son said like Christ to Judas, "I know it was you." Selfish son with sinister intent and sinning fingers, stealing from his cash register, his money, his trust, but somehow never his faith. She was there the day my closest friend stopped speaking to me. He recognized the signs, had been through this before, and refused to be on the receiving end of yet another suicide note. She was there when I learned that what the world had taught me was a moral failing was in fact a disease, a poison passed effortlessly through the veins of my family tree. She told me on that day, never forget. Recovery is to redemption as love is to forgiveness. Where there is one, you will always find the other. We must fall out of love with punishing ourselves for the pain our actions have inflicted upon others. I'm sorry will only ever be a bucket of sand trying to smother a forest fire. And while apologies are an important step, if the universe is to ever extract the remaining usefulness from us, forgiveness has to be an olive branch we eventually extend ourselves. Let us seek to embody the spirit of St. Jude. Let us use this light and this life and these words as a beacon of hope for anyone who has ever considered themselves a lost cause. We fight for the breakers and the broken, for the damaged and the damagers, for the feared and the fearful, so they know that they are not alone, that we are all here hurting and healing together. We fight for the millions we lost, for the families searching for purpose amongst lives extinguished far too soon. We fight for the communities that have been ravaged by a system that have too long punished the crime instead of treating the disease. We fight so that we might make the world as we would have it be. Not just by knowing what we are fighting against, but by knowing and never forgetting what we are fighting for. Amen. What's up, Pittsburgh? How you doing? My name is Joseph Green, and I am excited to be here with you today. I am right outside of Washington, D.C., and you heard all of the things that I do, but let me introduce myself as I do when I'm in these spaces. Hi, my name is Joseph Green. I am a father, a husband, a son, an educator, a mentor, a friend, and I'm capable to be all of those things because I am a person in long-term recovery. I'm here because I am a storyteller, and I not only tell my own stories, but I work with many organizations around the country, prevention and recovery, to help people use their voice, use their stories, because I find that storytelling and stories create the greatest connection between people, and pulls back the mask and pulls back the veils that we wear as we are out in the world. And as we fight this fight to remove stigma from this disease, from this place that we are, where we are trying to help our loved ones, I find that sharing our story is one of the best ways to accomplish that. So I share my story, and I share it through poetry and, good old storytelling. I only have a few minutes tonight, so I'm going to move into my next poem, but I'm going to preface it with a small story. Because what's important to me is that people find whatever their poetry is. This is the story about how poetry saved my life. A year into recovery, I get a phone call. A friend of mine has passed away. And so I go back up to New York for the funeral. I go to the funeral, and after, I'm faced with a choice. As is the case, unfortunately, a lot of times in the world of substance use disorder, when we lose one of our own, if we have not found a way to deal with pain that is constructive and not destructive, we often try to make ourselves feel better by doing more of the thing that killed our friend. So I had a choice. Do I go to the bar afterwards with everybody else, or do I go back to my hotel room and write down this line? Now, I've been in recovery seeking it. I had a sponsor, and one of the things that I was told was, you have this gift and this love for writing. When you feel overwhelmed, get it out, put it down on paper. That's the healthy way to deal with it. And so I'm there at this crossroads, and I know that in cases of people who haven't used in a very long time, that if you do use, your body has gotten over it, and you don't know what could happen in those cases. And so I had my life saved that night by poetry, literally. I went back to my hotel room, and the line I had been thinking about from DC to New York was, the last time I saw you alive, I wished I would have talked ugly to you. The last time I saw you alive, I wish I would have talked ugly to you. Said, put the straw down. No, I don't want to write another line. Excuse me, I don't want to take another line. I should be writing them. My friend, you are a composer of music and magic. Instruct your limbs to serve a purpose greater than self-indulgence. Do not be fooled into thinking your pain has sharper teeth than anyone else's. I had a chance, but said nothing because I was high. This is how I got started. A bottle of Jack and a mirror, memories and scissors, dreams drenched in ether, sliced by razors, potential roll like $20 bills, numbing the feeling on the tip of my tongue that I or this tongue should be serving a greater purpose. And the last ditch attempt at self-assessment, I decided to look at my life through the eyes of loved ones, for they see everything, especially the ugly. From years of drug use, from line with to line two, angels, friends I had forsaken, taking so much more than I had given. I had streamlined self-centeredness into a science, but there was a righteousness there, a willingness to craft this illness through alchemy and poetry into a seer stone. But honestly, how could I speak ugly to you when I was yet to speak it to myself? In these nightmares of hindsight, there is no poetry, no alliterations to soften the blow. Some realities have no simile. Truth is like truth. How could I form my lips to call yours a tragedy when I left you alone in that room? Kept company by narcotics and 1,000 ghosts draped in your disappointments. I can only imagine all the voices you heard, all but mine. Smear makeup onto disgust if you must trust. The truth is seldom pretty, but she is always beautiful. It is in times like these that I need you to please talk ugly to me. My pain needs it. Too many times we caress sadness when it needs to be shaken, torn from its place of comfort, forced to grow wings to survive. Don't just tell me I can grow up and be whatever I want. Tell me that whatever I want better be something I am willing to achieve, that dreams will dissipate under the weight of addiction, and that there is a distinct difference between living like a rock star and actually being one. Sometimes, no matter how many poems you've written, you are just a poser. Fear not. We are all divinely flawed individuals, perfectly ugly. There's no point hiding behind pretty lies. We are the sum of the hideous scars that hold together the remainder of our pretty pieces. The last time I saw you alive, I wish I would have talked ugly to you. It would have been the most beautiful thing I never said. Thank you.